You can support this show at patreon.com/ASAPodcasting. Welcome to a Skyrim Addict podcast, where I will discuss my adventures and misadventures through Skyrim. Join me. Add your stories, add your tales. Let's get into this thing. As I delicately walk back to the couch. Skyrim Addict Podcast 145. I'm Michael. I'm with Victor, who's muted, and Ray.
I'm muting myself. Sorry about that. Hi, how is everybody?
We almost started doing a show and then decided to turn it on.
Details.
Yeah, exactly.
I was just trying to move some files while you were starting things up here.
Michelle is in the chat with us.
Hey, Michelle.
And we were actually about to get into some modding stuff. We were talking about what was it? The script extender for SSE, right?
Yep. Yeah. So that just with the last Skyrim update came out of the alpha, and now is just. They didn't even bother to go to beta. They just went right from alpha to regular release.
Have you loaded it up and played with it?
Yeah, I had to because I forgot to turn off my automatic updates for Skyrim.
So it automatically did it for you.
Yeah. So, I went to fire up my game, and all of these messages start popping off left and right. Hey, you need to update this. Oh, you need to update this.
Yeah. That's why I leave it running through the mod organizer and the SKSE. But even SKSE will tell you to update itself, so you can't avoid that using the SKSE launchers.
Yeah, but they're so quick about getting these things turned around, and it was only a day and a half, and it was all updated and everything's roaring.
Yeah. Well, that's good to know, because I had a conversation on somebody else's Discord a while back. I think it was Sinitar, who was talking about mods not to use. It's actually a worthwhile list to look at if you look over on his site. But somebody made a comment about SKSE 64 being out of alpha, and I didn't realize when did it go to the new version?
Well, it would have had to been last Wednesday.
Okay, so it is pretty recent. So I was right, because I said, as far as I knew at that time, this was 2 or 3 weeks ago, it was still in its alpha state, even though it was stable as hell. Everybody's it's still. I mean, for me anyway, I'm sticking with Legacy. That's still where it's at in terms of mods, stuff that's still happening, so
Still the way to go.
Well, I mean, it's not as stable, and you have to be more careful with it. But it's a little more granular when you're using Mod Organizer, because Mod Organizer for the 32-bit version at least still allows you to handle archives. I know we've talked. I blathered on about that on one of my live streams, but it's complicated, but it makes a difference. But yes, SKSE 64 and Skyrim SE are much more stable. There's no doubt about that. I cannot deny this.
And I got to say, I'm loving Vortex.
Oh yeah, good.
That's set up on my SE build, and it's been super smooth.
But it's not. Is it? I don't know. Has it gone through any iterations since you started using it, or is it still the same version?
I've got to look and see. It's kind of quiet about the way that it updates, so I'm not certain yet if it's on the same version or not.
Can you do similar things with it that you can do with Mod Organizer? Like, really, it doesn't it doesn't handle mods the same way, right? It doesn't have two separate areas to arrange your mods, right? It's all one load order, one plugin list.
Yeah, so you've got your mod list, and that's where you set up priorities.
Okay.
So if Real Bows and Real Bows level list get activated for a profile,
right,
then you have to tell it which one of those loads first and which one loads second.
So you still, it's like Nexus Mod Manager, you still have to sort of plan your mod list setup before you start loading them up, rather than like with Mod Organizer, you can, in the left pane, you can reorder your mods in the left pane at will after they're installed, and then go back and then, sort of granularly adjust the load order with loot for every profile. And Mod Organizer keeps track of your priority list and your plugin load order separately, but at the same time. So with Vortex, it's more like the Nexus Mod Manager paradigm.
It's kind of a hybrid of the two.
Oh, okay, all right.
Because so you do. The only thing that you have to mess with in your mod list is where there's direct conflicts.
Okay.
So you go in and, resolve those the way you see fit.
Okay.
You flip over to the plugins page, and that has auto sorting.
Okay.
You can turn that off and manually sort it, or you just let the auto run. And every time you move anything or every time you install anything on the mods page, it automatically updates the profile or the plugin page.
That's cool. I assume that's like tied into the loot master list or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
You can still run loot separately if you want to, but it's just I was playing around with it last night and just I started a new profile from complete blank and just started my mod list is in alphabetical order.
Mm-hmm.
I just started loading them up in alphabetical order and resolved a couple of conflicts. And every time you do anything on the mod page, you can see the plugin page activate.
Oh, that's cool. Okay.
And once it was done, I fired it up and the game ran flawlessly.
How many mods have you got running on it?
It's only about 30 or 40.
Mm-hmm.
Now I saw something, I don't recall exactly where, but I think there's a limit to the number of mods that'll actually run at one time. I think it's like somewhere around 300 mods.
Well, there was a limit, or probably still is. The engine can only address 255 plugins. That's an original one, but you can merge plugins with one of Mater's Mater the Eternal, one of his utilities. You can merge plugins and several plugins into one, and that's the way of getting around the plugin limit. But I don't know if Vortex has its own limit as well.
Yeah, so I don't really see myself getting close to that.
To that limit.
Yeah, no, I would never get close to that.
Yeah. Adam wants to know if you're broadcasting from a haunted house, Ray.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, because I'm looking to actually get back into my PC, either of my PC characters. Because I started playing on the laptop while we were traveling, because Connor was playing on the Switch.
Of course.
So, yeah. Well, so I was like, well, I'm never going to get the Switch out of his hands, so I might as well just play on the laptop. And so I was just playing vanilla SE. So I think I'll leave my vanilla character on that laptop now, and then I'll use my PC down here. And I was debating whether to start modding SE or Legacy Edition, and but with SKSE 64 out of alpha. You said, I mean, maybe that's the way to go.
Oh yeah, I think it probably is. Oh, that's definitely Haunted House, Ray. I like that. Yeah, it's excellent. Yeah, I think especially on a laptop, if it's not a really bodacious gaming laptop,
Yeah.
SE is probably the better choice, because just for stability reasons.
Yeah.
And with probably with not a huge amount of high end graphics mods. You were mentioning Legacy of the Dragonborn earlier. That's a huge mod.
Yeah.
And it changes. Well, it adds a whole bunch of stuff to the game. It's just, I noticed even Gopher is using it on his latest Skyrim SE playthrough, which he finally knuckled under and started. I don't know if you guys have watched any of it. It's okay, but it's not as inspiring as it used to be.
As it used to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just really like to try it. Get further into that Legacy of the Dragonborn.
It was so cool, but you got to do it with a brand new
a brand new start. Yeah.
I mean, it's so huge. It's amazing how its little tentacles get into every single little last place, and it makes you want to loot everything boxing, and because you'll always find something new. Something you haven't found before, different books and items, and there's little archaeological ruins that you can explore, and it integrates well with. It's already got several mods, story mods built into it, like Moonpath Elsewhere is built right.
It's built right into it. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
You don't even have to download it extra. Wheels of Lull is totally compatible with it. All these mods, and Grey Cowl of Nocturnal is integrated. It's all there.
Oh,
so
nice.
It's just an amazing piece of work. It's one of those standout. The guy who built it, Ice Cream Assassin, he's in the pantheon of the great modders, along with people like Arthmore and Chesko and Eleonora and people like that. It's just a superb and Ogre Boss, the guy who originally did Requiem. It's just a superb piece of work, and Inai Shion too. Yeah, I'm having a lot of fun with it. I haven't even come close to plumbing all of its depths.
I think
goes on forever.
If I added it, I would just add that and play through, just like, because I don't necessarily always add graphics mods and all anyway. So
right,
I'm fine with just adding just that and experiencing that.
Well, I mean, and if you add that plus some of those quest mods like Moonpath and others. Because it's so well integrated, I mean, he's got it built into the storyline of Legacy of the Dragonborn. So you get a slightly alternate start to Moonpath that's built into the Legacy of the Dragonborn storyline, which is kind of a loose storyline, but it's still a storyline nevertheless. So it's even cooler, So it makes it feel new again. It really is a masterwork in many ways.
I don't think I've ever played through Moonpath. I've played Grey Cowl. I don't think I ever did finish Moonpath Elsewhere.
I've never finished it either.
Yeah, I don't recall ever finishing it. I did see rumblings on the Skyrim modding subreddit about Worm's Tooth, though.
Well, it's certainly compatible with Legacy of the Dragonborn, as far as there's several patches out there, and but you don't have to. There's not a lot of patching necessary with Legacy. So, Juan said something about.
Morrowind backwards compatible. Compatible next week.
That just popped up, didn't it? Yep.
Yeah,
that's cool.
Although the last time I tried to play that, it was a complete disaster. But it's very hard it's hard to go back. It's like I can go back to Oblivion pretty easily, but I feel like that next step is extreme.
Yeah, you have to have really fallen in love with Morrowind when it was first out in order to go back and play it. I enjoyed it, but I can't go back to that. running around like this all the time and stuff. It just doesn't feels too much like Witcher 1. And even though it is a great game, the advantage of going back to those old games and even farther is the lore, because there's so much great lore that's just sort of transferred up through, from Arena through Daggerfall and all the other ones, that you kind of miss if you start with Skyrim or even Oblivion. And don't ask me what all of it is, because there's so much of it I can't remember my own name from day to day. But yeah, that's one advantage of going back to and really trying hard to play through Morrowind, because a lot of stuff that you see and that goes on, and even in Skyrim, is if you've experienced this with Oblivion, right? I mean, there's tons of little references in Skyrim. Yeah, and even Easter eggs and stuff. And that's the true with the first quest you do for Legacy of the Dragonborn is finding one of the 6th house bellhammers.
Oh gosh.
Right. So there you go. Right. Boom. Right back to Morrowind. Right. It there's stuff like that. That's really cool. And I think the second, because you have to perform 4 quests for the guy before he'll let you into the museum.
Yeah.
Second one is Boots of Azadal. I think that's another Morrowind reference. And then there's I forget what the third and fourth one are, but they're all. I mean, it's all very lore integrated. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. And I'm pretty sure that the SE version it's not quite the same as the Legacy version, because I think some of them is Moonpath available for SE yet?
No, it's been removed, but it is it's not built in, but it's integrated support. Yeah. Because I actually have the Nexus page up right now. As a matter of fact.
Okay. Yeah. I wasn't looking at it. Yeah. So some, I guess the 2 versions are a little different. The Legacy version is a little more comprehensive.
Yeah, it shows which ones have been removed. Mad Masker, a couple other ones. There's a couple different changes.
That's probably no great loss. I don't think I've ever heard of that.
And then the integrated mod support was Moonpath, Alt Start, Live Another Life, Skyrim Unique Treasures, Grey Cow, Forgotten City.
Okay, cool.
Helgen Reborn, Falscar.
Wheels of Lull?
Let's see. Yeah, Wheels of Lull, ELFX, Marloot, Hunterborn, Artifacts of Skyrim, Cloaks of Skyrim, Raven Gate.
That's Eni Shion's newest one.
Let's see. Legacy of the Dragonborn Bad Gremlins collection, which I guess adds different stuff.
Yeah.
So, and then there's some patch support for mods also.
This is all on the SE page.
This is the SE version.
Cool.
Yeah.
That's actually that's plenty. Good Lord. I mean.
Oh God. Yeah.
That's 100 hours of play with all the legacy stuff. That's
gosh. Yeah.
And I've been playing mostly with my Unbound character. So I'd like to, just because they gave a nice shout out to us on one of their Unbound podcasts, back to Character Crusade guys who mentioned us, I think, on the first or second Unbound. So I've been so shout out to them. They're awesome, and they do some really great stuff. I've been using Legacy on my Unbound character for Character Crusade. Have you been following along with that, Ray? I know you're on there. Have you been keeping up with it?
I kind of got left behind a little bit.
Yeah, everybody did.
And then we started the Fallout feed roundtable, and so I've really had a hard time getting caught up.
Yeah,
but I did get a couple of things that they suggested. Okado's recital I got set up, and so we'll see if that helps once I get around to playing again.
Cool. Yeah, I've been kind of I've been playing with mods too much instead of doing what I'm supposed to be doing. With Fallout 4 too, But I've been playing with this spell research mod that I've mentioned several times.
Oh
before.
yeah. That seems. What's the name of that?
It's just called spell research.
Spell research. Okay, well that's simple. There we go.
Yeah, and I don't even know if it's available for SC because I have to say that with apologies, I've basically been ignoring SE. So I should now that SKSE 64 is really firmly out, and which means that all the modders are going to be releasing stuff for it. I should go back and maybe I'll do the Vortex thing, Ray, and just try it that way. But I've been resisting the temptation because I just can't make it look as good as I can make my Legacy look. So
yeah, I don't see that mod on here.
No, yeah, I didn't see it listed.
I didn't think so. Yeah, it's not old, but it's not new either. And did I think third person camera overhaul came out for SC? That's a lot of fun. And there's a new. Let's see. I got it over here in my downloads. This came out just. Let's see. Okay, Skyline. Just for a few of the most recent interesting things that have popped up. Skyland brought out a new addition to its texture stuff, Imperial Forts and Dungeons. I haven't loaded that up yet because it just came out a few days ago. But I'm using Skyland in my Harold Steelclaw Unbound thing, and I love some of the textures and stuff in that. It's a really wonderful landscape overhaul. So I would highly recommend that people check that out. I'm pretty sure that's available on both Legacy and SE. There's a new skin shaders mod for Falmer and Hag Ravens that's kind of cool. Since Gopher started his new playthrough, there's at least two. One is his and one is somebody else's coin flip mods. If anybody's watched any of Gopher's playthrough, they'll know that plays a big part in his latest series. There's a new mod called Character Behaviors Enhanced. That's what I wanted to find. That is similar to and not compatible with TK Dodge. TK Dodge is an older mod which adds a real roll dodge to your fighting style, and it's actually really cool. Works really well, and is used by the guy who wrote Ultimate Combat, which is the combat mod that I use most. And you can see my enemy NPCs using the dodge roll. But anyway, so this character behaviors enhanced. I don't know if that's available on SC or not, but that just came out recently, and it includes a dodge version and a no dodge version. And then the capstone of all great mods in the last 3 or 4 weeks are the McLeod and the McGregor Tartan kilt mods. So your male characters can now wear awesome armored kilts, and they are actually pretty cool. They're really, really nicely done. Gordon Highlander's tartan too. So if you're into Scottish things, and you want to do a nice red-headed Nord Scotsman, go grab the McGregor tartan.
I could cosplay that at Dragon Con and nobody'd notice.
Yeah, probably not.
That's true. Yeah, that's probably true.
All the tech guys run around in utility kilts.
Utility kilts, yeah, of course. Yeah. So yeah, those are the latest ones I've got. Let's see what's loaded in on my here. What?
How many you have loaded in right now?
Oh well, no, I've got 210 plugins on most of my profiles go over 200 plugins.
Over 200.
Yeah. And that's just plugins. The mods probably in the 3 to 350 range with all the texture mods and stuff. It's pretty stable. I've actually got it dialed in pretty well right now, at least on the legacy side of things. The Herald has been really stable, mostly because I've avoided adding or subtracting anything that has scripts attached to it. I've added some of Mikhail's new stuff, the moose and pigeons and seagulls and stuff. Michelle was commenting on that on one of my videos the other day. They get a little intrusive. The audio files get a little intrusive.
Oh, okay.
But they're cool. Squirrels are nice. To have squirrels running around in the forest.
Adds adds some reality to it.
Yeah, and there's lots of seagulls along the coast, but his audio file is a little loud and a little intrusive.
A little much.
yeah. I'm probably just going to delete it. But otherwise, it's been pretty stable.
I guess seagulls are kind of loud and intrusive, though.
They are, yeah. That's right. It's true. But when there's like 50 of them on the dock, you're trying to hear what some stupid guard is saying or
you
talk
can't
over
hear
them,
anything. Yeah,
kind of ruins the effect.
That would be a hassle.
Yeah.
It probably seems great, like the first few minutes, and then you get bombarded with seagull noise.
Yeah, well, even the pigeons, they're coo.
Yeah, the cooing of the pigeon.
Yeah. So
Michelle said there are pigeons everywhere in it.
Yeah, there are pigeons everywhere in Riverwood for sure.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, they were all over the freaking place. I killed a few, and they yield like a pigeon drumstick or something like that.
Oh, wow, that's pretty neat.
So
I would think Solitude would have.
Thing.
Oh, does Solitude have a lot of seagulls? Is that what it is?
Yeah, Solitude has the seagulls. I don't remember if there's a lot, and I've only had it loaded for a little while, and I don't think I've been to Dawnstar. So I think he mostly populates the coastlines with the seagulls.
Yeah, with seagulls. Yeah. Maybe the cold would keep it away from Dawnstar.
Yeah, and using Hunterborn, you can classify them for loot.
Okay.
Yeah, and make them into chickens or whatever. And I think I made the squirrels into skeevers. Maybe I don't remember. Just so that Hunterborn can get the pelts and things.
So I loaded a new one that I haven't had a chance to play with yet, called Vitality Mode. I
saw that. I didn't download it.
Yeah, it's like an I need type.
Yeah, that just came out a few days ago, didn't it? Yeah. So is that out on SE and Legacy then? Because I saw it on Legacy.
Okay, yeah, it was. I picked it up on SE.
Okay. Yeah, that sounded cool. It looked. iNeed has its issues, and it's getting old and long in the tooth, and no longer supported. So I'm using Complete Alchemy and Cooking Overhaul for my Herald Steelclaw, and that integrates reasonably well with iNeed. So, but I'd like to try that one. I'd like to hear what you think of it if you give it a shot. Is it like really lightweight or?
I don't remember exactly how big it was. It claims to be a little less over the top than the iNeed program.
Yeah. Maybe now that SKSE 664 is out of alpha, we're going to get Last Seed. Because that's the one I've been waiting for, right? That's Chesko's extension of Frostfall. Okay. It's going to include all the needs and the hypothermia and everything all in one package. He brought out sort of a beta of it a while back, but it was kind of nerfed. So now that SKSE 64 is in full release, maybe Last Seed will pop up, and that'll be cool because I think he's rebuilt Frostfall as well with a lot of new stuff in it. That is something to really watch for because I suspect that'll come out for SE only. That's entirely possible. So that'll be a good reason to switch over finally.
Finally.
Yeah. I was just looking at some of the stuff I did add to Harold's playthrough. It was the third person camera overhaul, and I think Adam was watching me fart around with it the other day.
Oh, okay.
And Michelle too, maybe. I don't think I had added TK Dodge yet, but I added the third person camera overhaul, and then I added a lock on, which the third person camera overhaul mod author recommends lock on and TK Dodge. So I've been playing with those a little bit, and it works pretty seamlessly. It makes the camera move more like a sort of a Dark Souls type of thing. So you're not constantly directly behind your character. When you go into combat, the camera swings like it's on a boom, from side to side. It takes a little bit of getting used to, but it makes third person, for me anyway, it makes third person more enjoyable. We had a conversation about that. In fact, on that live stream, who liked watching what more, if you're either playing or watching, and I was surprised that because I actually prefer watching the game being played in third person, but I prefer playing it in first. And Michelle, I think, was saying he doesn't like watching it in third person because he finds it disconcerting. I find when I'm watching in first person, you get used to it after a while, but especially if the person is unlike somebody like Gopher, who's really skilled at making sure his camera movements are smooth. If somebody's, twitching around a lot, it gets really, like me, it gets really, it can get really annoying.
Yeah. I struggle with third person. I just can't play that way.
Yeah.
I used to play that way all the time, and I play less and less that way, but I still break into it at certain times, like maybe long distance running and stuff like that,
Yeah,
from place to place.
I do from time to time, because in first person, the footsteps are so loud.
Yeah, well, yeah, there's that too.
And so I pan out so that quiets down until I get where I'm going.
Yeah. I use it a lot more for travel now, and I do use it in if I'm using like hand-to-hand combat, if I'm using melee weapons of some type, one-handed or two-handed. But I don't use it I use first person for archery and magic and all that. So
yeah, it's really hard to change from first to third person when you're on ranged weapons, because it's a totally different aiming system.
Yeah, I only use first for anything ranged. Up close, I will switch to third just because I just find it easier to follow if I'm using two swords or whatever.
Yep.
One hand, it feels real clunky to me for some reason. I mean, or first person feels, I don't know, hard to follow for me for some reason.
Yeah, well, your peripheral vision isn't really good. I mean, especially if you're playing on console where you can't widen your field of view.
Yeah,
If you can widen your field of view to like 90 or so, just before it starts distorting too much on a PC, then first person isn't as bad. If you widen it too much, then it gets like VR. And, you start getting seasick. But yeah, I the only thing I ever really pop out into third person when I'm really playing a lot is for seeing around corners.
Oh yeah. It's also excellent for that. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I always feel like I'm cheating, but
there's
no peak action in Skyrim. So
yeah. So it's really the only peak. Yeah. It's the only way you can do peak. And Michelle and Adam were saying it's a little easier to see things that are close to you in third person, which is because you kind of have that little bit of overhead view.
Yep.
So like if you lose somebody in the grass, which has happened many, 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 many times,
yes,
you can find it.
Especially in SE.
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to lose things. If somebody goes flying after a fireball or whatever, and you're like, oh, where was it?
Yeah. Well, that's why it's nice to have mods like Hunterborn, which include things like instincts and stuff like that. So you can use that power and just have the dead bodies glow in distance.
Yeah, makes it much easier to find them. Yeah.
And if you're using, I know SE has denser grass, although you can turn that down in the INI files. And I use grass mods in my legacy game, so things get lost quickly. But
yeah, very easily. Yeah. Yeah, and especially with the grass mods, if it's even thicker.
Yeah.
If it's even thicker, it's much quicker to lose things.
Yeah.
I find things fly a lot more in SC too, just in general. Like when you run into things, the little things like buckets, bones, and stuff.
That's probably a frame rate issue.
Yeah, I find they are I don't know, much more have much more explosive movements, I guess.
Well, that used to be an issue in Legacy too. If you had if you're trying to play Legacy in especially over 60 FPS.
Mm-hmm.
The Havoc system just can't handle
it. That maybe that was the issue.
Over 60,
Yeah.
And so you get all kinds of weird crap happening, and that's when you get like fish, that are stuck in between something, and then you hear this noise coming.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
and you can't figure out where it's coming from. Yeah, that's that kind of physics crap.
I didn't notice it. I really didn't notice it previously playing it until I was actually playing it on Connor's laptop. So I don't know.
Okay,
that was the only. It was like I ran over some bones, and it was like bloom, 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 and they were flying all over the room, and I'm like, what is going on? Like,
yeah, and they can injure you too.
Yeah,
sometimes.
I was getting injured. I was getting injured
Yeah.
by buckets and stuff. I'm like, what in the world? It's like,
yeah.
This doesn't happen when I normally play. What's going on? So I don't know. It must be some of the settings on there. So
yeah.
Oh yeah, in Fallout 4 it does happen a lot. Yeah, Michelle was saying in Fallout 4 that is true. I did notice it when I went back to playing that it's more happens more there.
Yeah. I've actually been playing more Skyrim on my Switch than I've been playing it for my Unbound character or for anything else. I got so behind with everything, and I've been working on my Fallout 4 guy. So, but I've been having fun with having done the Baron Zaya quest. She's like, rolling in cash.
8 million gems.
It's great. It's awesome, especially when you do it early in the game. And
it is. Yeah.
So she's like, she's just running around selling stuff right now. Just traveling by cart from town to town, selling diamonds and emeralds. And
that's my Unbound character has got like 20,000 gold.
Yeah.
Because all she does is go around picking up stuff off dead bodies.
Yeah. Yep. I remember Slythe ended up with something like 300,000 or 400,000 gold at some point.
Oof. Yeah. There's I think I've had characters get that high, but I get to a point where I just give up collecting stuff.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I don't need them. I have every house. What do I need? Do I need anything else?
And especially if you have immersive patrols.
Oh gosh.
Because there's just constant battles everywhere you go.
Yep. Yeah, I tried to. I forget which one, whether it was Manfred Testerson or something. I think he was fairly careful about what he looted from the corpses of dead soldiers. I think he would take arrows only or something like that. But yeah, there's at least 5 or 6 spawn points for immersive patrols. There's the one up above Helgen, and there's the one between Rorikstead and Fort Sungard, and there's another one up near Stone Hills where there's battles. Yeah, and you'll find like 30 or 40 corpses of various, including especially if you have like immersive armors loaded, you'll get an Imperial captain with really expensive armor on and stuff. Yes, it's
well, and I have bandoliers too. So
right, yeah,
all those guys, those things are worth plenty.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that adds up fast.
I do miss that playing on the Switch with, just having extra money. You have to invest in all your vendors and stuff. At least, she's a thief, so she's got a couple of fences to go to as well. But, nobody has anything more than like 750 gold.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah. You're traveling around constantly. Whereas with
place to play. Yeah.
Trade and barter, or I forget what the equivalent mod is in SE that gives you gives the vendors a little bit more gold.
Richer merchants, I think.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh yeah, richer merchants. Yeah.
But between trade and barter and trade routes on Legacy, I don't think those will ever. Sadly, well, trade and barter is by Cryptopeer, and she's still pretty active. But trade routes isn't. Those two mods in Legacy make a real economy in Skyrim. You can go mine silver ore in the Reach and sell it for a huge profit in the Rift, because the whole other idea is that there's no silver in the Rift, but it's abundant in the Reach. It's a pretty cool system.
That would definitely add a lot to a like a trader playthrough or even a miner playthrough. Yeah, where you're just surviving.
And trade routes is really stable. I think, in fact, it's also it's one of the at least in Legacy, it's one of the mods that's compatible with Legacy of the Dragonborn without patches and stuff. And it includes some small questy kind of pieces to it that are kind of hidden. There's sort of Easter eggy. If you read up on the mod, you can find your way to some of these. It's a lot of fun to throw in. To anybody who's still playing on Legacy, I'd highly recommend Trade Routes. It's a good mod.
Yeah, that's one I would like to try. There was one I saw, or no, you know what it was? I think it was on the subreddit. Somebody was talking about building a innkeeper mod.
Oh,
for them. I think they were originally going to build it for themselves, see how it went, and then put it out. But I don't know if that ever happened or not. This was only about a month ago. But I was like, that's a really interesting mod where you could, buy an inn, become an innkeeper, et cetera,
Well,
you
there's
can kind of do that with Carpathian.
I don't know
that. No, I'll have to look it up. I haven't played with it in a while, but it's one of the mods that I had. Carpathian Inn, you end up buying the deed from the two brothers that run it, and then you get a room, and then you get an income, and you build up the inn and add stuff to it, and you start making more money off the rooms than the more you build it up.
That's cool. I don't think I've ever tried Carpathian Inn, but there are a couple of other mods that are more generalized. There's a really old one for Legacy called RE-Real Estate, and then there's a newer one that I think is available for. Did I say for SE? I meant for Legacy. There's a newer one called Landlord that's available on both Legacy and SE. That allows you to buy properties and invest, and including inns, and merchants and houses, and rent out space. And you can be a nasty slumlord and gouge your renters, or you could be nice. And but so yeah, there are ways of creating more complex economies.
Michelle wanted to know if anybody used Jobs of Skyrim.
Yeah, I have it loaded all the time. It's
yeah, me too.
Yep.
I think I'd use that as well. Yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those. Ray, what do you think of it?
It comes in handy with certain role plays. I don't always take advantage of it, because some of the characters it just doesn't really fit with, but it just kind of adds bodies to the world.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. When I first installed it, it says you have to turn on closed captions to be able to interact with them.
Because they're not voiced. Yeah.
Yeah, there's also a mod called Fuss Road O, which has been around for a long time, and all it does is it takes unvoiced characters and applies the lip sync to them, so that you can read, and you still need the closed captions on, but as you read, you can see the character actually sort of mouthing the words instead of just standing there silently. I think Jobs of Skyrim suggests that one as well. But yeah, I like it. It goes well with the other two, Notice Board and Missives, to make sort of just a random quest character who doesn't really want to do anything but just sort of run around and live in the world.
I think I actually have it loaded on I believe that's available for Xbox One. I think I have it loaded on there.
Yeah,
for the character I had just wandering.
I think Landlord is on Xbox One too, isn't it?
It might be. I haven't checked. I haven't turned that one on.
That might require SKSE. I don't know. It may not be.
Yeah, it's kind of fun because you'll be wandering around. You'll be going through a dungeon or something. And you'll open up a chest and take some stuff out, and then all of a sudden a little message will pop. Hey, go talk to so and so, because you found one of the quest items that's in the job board.
Oh, okay. Michelle saying,
especially book collecting.
Oh, book collecting. Oh, yeah. Michelle was saying he had some problems with it. he would be in a closed rooms that you had to enter, and the NPC would be telling you to get out, so he couldn't pursue the job.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, that could. There probably needs a patch for some things. Who knows? That's the problem with some of these. Like, for instance, all these sort of random quest mods. If you have the Forgotten Dungeons mod loaded, those appear in the leveled lists or whatever lists are created for. Actually, it's the Radiant Quest list. So the notice board and these other mods use locations loaded by Forgotten Dungeons, and those can be just, oh my god, they're interminable. They're fun sometimes, but they just take forever. They go on and on and on and on and on. It's the difference between an amateur decent modder and a professional game developer.
Yeah.
Doesn't know when to say no, that's enough. Your players are starting to get bored.
It just keeps
going.
Kill
6 more Falmer.
Oh, yeah.
10 more Chorus and wind down 6 more hallways.
Yeah.
Enough.
It just becomes tedious at some point.
Oh,
Yeah.
totally. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I played a little bit with the jobs of Skyrim. It took me a little bit to figure out where to find the jobs, etc. But I need to actually want to play that character some more. It's just a hunter-gatherer I have who's living outside the cities and just,
Yeah, if he's totally amoral, I mean, because you can use any of them. I mean, the jobs go from all the way from postman to murderer.
Yeah, I did notice that.
And skooma dealer and everything else, So you can find any kind of job you want.
Yeah, so far I was just kind of edging just the normal jobs. Like postman and things like that. Yeah. I was using it as a way to bring me to different places, essentially.
Yeah. That's what the difference I like between the other two, the notice board and missives. Notice board is more generalized, so you might get a quest in Markarth that takes you to the Rift, but missives are all localized, so they're all within whatever hold that the missive board is in. They're all very, very local, so you can pick and choose between the two of them. If you want to stay in Whiterun for a while and you want to do quests there, then go to the missive board. That's kind of nice. I like that difference.
Yeah, it makes it.
So,
yeah, I think you had mentioned that when I said I was using jobs.
Yeah,
about the missive. Yeah.
So I've had a couple of little issues with it recently in my Herald playthrough. Occasionally, I'll walk up to the missive board and it'll be empty, and I don't know if that's a bug, a glitch, or what. I'll come back to it later, and it'll have notes on it, so I'm not worried about it. It's not crashing the game or anything. So, yeah. So did Andrew have a thing that he?
Oh yeah, I think Andrew has a voicemail. I think it's on my phone. as Renee hops into the screen.
Hi, Renee.
Victor and Ray are on. Yeah, I'll pull up. Actually, yeah, Andrew's been playing on the Switch, I believe.
Yeah.
As I have to, let's see. Oh, there it is. Oh, and my tax returns are in the email too. Good.
Yay.
I don't know if it's a yay, but the returns are in there.
We'll see. Yeah.
It may be, well, not too bad. Paying out wise. I'm afraid to open it. Let's see. Not Andrew's.
Yeah,
Hello, a Skyrim Addict podcast. This is Andrew, and I thought I'd call in with a feedback for you guys. I've been playing a little bit of Skyrim recently because I picked it up for the Switch not too terribly long ago. I have to say it's really fun to pick it up again. I have started a character named Bati Gildergleam that is a wood elf. And if that build sounds familiar to you guys at all... Oh, sorry, that's really loud. If that build sounds familiar to you guys at all, it's because I'm playing it not only on Skyrim Switch, but also for Skyrim 10 AD, which Colin has put together for us, a D&D, Dungeons & Dragons style adventure through Skyrim. It's really fun. Skyrim 10 AD, if you haven't checked out that podcast yet. I think you can find it here in this this feed here. Right, Michael? I believe so.
Yes.
Anyway, so let's just look at the character a little bit here. And a little bit about the Switch in general. I think Skyrim works really well on the Switch. I love, one of my main complaints a few years back was, give me a mobile game that's exactly like Skyrim. Of course they can't do that because mobile games are so tiny, but so I was like, where the fuck? I can't take Skyrim with me. I guess I could lug my PS3 on vacation and stuff. I know a lot of people do that, but I chose not to back in the day. But I just wanted to be able to take Skyrim with me, but now I can, and it's great. And I feel like I'm going a little bit overboard. I've been playing on my lunch breaks at work and stuff like that, and for a few minutes before I go to bed. I say a few minutes, but my bedtime has been creeping later and later and later as I keep playing. I'm about level 10 now with the character. The controls I'm still getting used to. It's not exactly the same as on Xbox because the enter, or the action and the back buttons, the cancel and the action buttons, the go and stop buttons, however you want to say it, are flip-flopped on the Switch compared to Xbox and PlayStation. So it really sucks. Because in-game, in Skyrim, you can remap your controls. But on the Switch, I'm not sure if I just haven't found it yet, but you can't remap the Switch controls. So, you can... It's really weird. It changes the menus up slightly, so like you're hitting enter and into using the Skyrim menu, but then when you want to back out of something, it uses the Switch menu, so like the function of your buttons keeps flip-flopping. I don't know. It's really weird. It's a really pain in the neck. I also find that I do not like playing with the controllers docked on the sides. I like them handheld just because, maybe it's because I have fat thumbs, but my action button, I hit the right joystick too much when I'm trying to hit the B button on the little tiny Switch control. So if I have to hold it at an angle where my thumb doesn't hit it, my screen is tilted forward way too much. So I don't, use that. So I detach them and I can hold them at a better angle. But this means in my car, on my lunch break at work, I've got it propped up in a weird way. I'm using the Switch case itself as a clamshell, holding it open. And plus, I'm playing in daylight, which sucks. You know what I mean? I just can't get it bright enough. For the first few levels, I was like, please, someone give me a torch. Help me find mage light, candlelight, something, please. But I've since found candlelight, and am using that. So the darkness issue isn't as bad. But playing in daylight sucks. Even if you turn the screen brightness all the way up, it's still really bad. So let's look at the character a little bit. Like I said, Bati is a wood elf. I'm a level about 10 and a half right now. My highest level is enchanting so far. Of course, it's the easiest one for me. You just pick up the soul gems, go to, dwarven places or whatever. I've found a bunch already. And, you can just power through that. You can disenchant a bunch of enchanted things that you find. I've already found doubles of... I found 4 soul trap items already. It's crazy. Muffle's still eludes me, though. Of course it does. But I've been enjoying playing it on the Switch. The game is actually really beautiful. I plugged the Switch I docked it with my 4K TV upstairs, which is kind of a cruddy, low-end 4K TV. But the Switch, when it's docked and the 4K TV... This might sound bad, or sound incorrect, but I think it looks better than playing it on Xbox into my Plasma 1080 HD TV. The Switch into 4K looks better than Xbox into Plasma. I think. Anyway, it's really fun. The world is very deep and lush. Everything looks great. Without mods, like this isn't the special edition or anything. It's just the normal old version, and it looks great. Anyway, this character, I'm sort of trying to follow what is happening in Skyrim 10 AD a little bit. I'm going to go off and do a bunch of side quests in between, you know what I mean? But I'm going to follow the general outline. Like, if you've heard the first couple editions of Skyrim 10 AD, the gang went to Haldir's Cairn and stumbled around in there for a little bit. So my character went over to Haldir's Cairn and stumbled around a little bit. It's been fun. Pat's character is I forget the D&D term for it, but a priest. And Ray is playing a Khajiit. So I'm looking for those sorts of followers. How I can, quest followers, you can trick multiple people into following you. So I've already got a priest and Brother Verilus. He's the priest of Archaea over from Markarth, from the Hall of the Dead there. If you do the A Taste of Death, is that the quest? You can have either, what's her name? Not Aola. Something. She can take you over to do some sort of cannibal quest. But you can choose either her, or she wants you to bring Verilus back to eat him. If you don't take Verilus back to be eaten, you can use him. So you can use either or of those two characters. So I always take Brother Verilus because he's a priest of Archaea. He's got the healing stuff, plus he's got a ranged magic attack, which is really sweet. I think she does too, but anyway. So that's my version of Pat is Brother Verilus. And so I need to find a Khajiit follower for Ray's character that will travel with Body. What are my options for Khajiit followers? There's Karjo, right? Isn't he in a caravan that you can stumble across, I believe? And then Jazaro at the college. Other than those two, I can't really think of any Khajiit followers. Can you guys think of any others to help me out? And then Victor, your character is an Imperial, you mentioned the other day. Are there Imperial followers, especially a quest type one? You know what I mean? So I can trick them into being my follower too, so I can actually have because otherwise I have to dismiss the Khajiit, because there's definitely no Khajiit quest followers. So help me out with that sort of stuff, guys. The character in general, I'm doing lots of shock, electric, destruction magic. And I have a hard time staying away from enchanting. And I'm trying to make lots of potions, but that's mainly just to sell. I'm trying to get a house. I want to get one of the 3 big houses. I've already got favor in Falkreath, so I could go build it there. I just passed the 5,000 gold not too long ago, so I can actually do this now. But I went up to Markarth, and I wanted to get as many quest followers as I can, so I picked up Thawnir, who was going to avenge his wife's death by killing the vampire Movarth over there. So, but I wanted him. But I think in order to get favor for Markarth, you actually have to go kill that vampire. But if I go kill that vampire, then I lose him as a temporary follower. So then I decided I'd go over and try to get the one up in Dawnstar. But I forgot about one of the stipulations of getting that property is that you need to do the Night Caller. No, what's it called? That temple, the Night something temple up on the hill. You need to go do the miasma thing with the orc invaders and the priests, right? And you get the Skull of Corruption, I believe. That is, of course, one. The other one, and I'm just waiting around and doing as many favors as I can for people all over town, is you have to go kill just a random generated giant, I believe. Somewhere. The Jarl will eventually tell you to, and I remembered that he tells you to go kill a giant. I remember that there's those 2 things you have to do. So I just keep doing things around town, and it never pops up. And then I finally look it up. I'm only level 10.5, and it's like, oh, it's a prerequisite of level 22 before that radiant giant thing will pop up, and that you need that. So yeah, technically to get the one in Dawnstar, you have to be minimum level 22. Well, I want a place to store all my junk. So far, I've just been selling absolutely everything. So I need to get a house. I've got to be level 22 to get the one in Dawnstar. I need to give up Thonir if I want to get the one over in south of the Blue Palace there, whatever that place is called, and then not Markarth. What's it fucking called? I don't remember. Anyway, and then there's one down at Falkreath. I guess I'm gonna have to settle for the one at Falkreath, even though it is my favorite. Again, maybe I shouldn't say favorite. It's the one that I've used way too much. I've used that one a ton. Anyway, I'm gonna look for a house for Bati. So Patrick and Victor and Ray can all have a place to rest their weary heads, where we can curse Colin in our dreams for making our lives so miserable. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for letting me hop on here and saying hi for a minute. I endorse the Skyrim Switch version. It's very fun. I like to wedge it into my life and little nooks and crannies when I can. I'm still playing a lot of Fallout 4 predominantly, but the Switch is nice to be able to play some games in those occasions when the Xbox One won't travel. Anyway, guys, thanks a lot again. Have a great show, and thanks.
So he's tying in his play with the Skyrim 10AD stuff.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking about doing that in Skyrim, but instead I did it in a IRL, another D&D game. I'm using the same character in a game I'm playing locally here. So, but he's level 6 now. No, 7. He's a level 7 rogue instead of level 2 as he is in Skyrim 10 AD. So, I totally agree about the buttons.
Yeah, me too, actually.
And all Nintendo had to do was simply make them different letters or symbols.
Yep.
Why they had to make them A, B, X, Y, I don't know. And then reverse them because they would have been sued by Microsoft if they hadn't. It was just stupid. So anyway.
Yeah, I had the same issue although I only play them docked in the or all together as a handheld. I never take them off at all.
Me too. Actually, that's not true. I tried it the way Andrew was doing it. I do the same thing in bed. I'll go to bed. In fact, it hit me in the face the other day. But anyway, no, the Switch wasn't hurt. It was fine. But I tried taking the little things off and propping the screen up on a pillow and using them, and it just didn't feel right. So I put it back on. I like it in full handheld mode. And I don't know if that's correct, that what he said, that it's not the legacy version. It's not the SE version either.
I think it's just a version for Switch version, right?
Yeah. So, but I'm glad it looks good on the 4K. I'm sure it's up-resed, and that's why it looks so nice. But
that would be my guess, is why it looks better than, say, the Xbox One version. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And while we were listening to Andrew, Michelle was saying he actually hasn't played since February 22nd any of the games, like Skyrim, any of the Skyrim. Yeah, any Skyrim version, any Fallouts, since February 22nd, and he has over 5,000 hours in those games. So
what have you been playing, Michelle? Come on.
He's been watching your videos and others as well, and listening to the early episodes. Speaking of the early episodes, apparently the old feed and original episodes are working again.
Oh my God, really?
So I'll be able to move them over. I don't know if I'll be able to move them over, but I'll at least be able to download all of them now. Somebody had sent me a flash drive with a bunch, so I did have a gap in there that I was missing, but I'll still continue on bringing them over. If you go to TalkShoe and talkshoe.com, TalkShoe, and search for Skyrim Addict, that whole feed is still there. So you could actually just pump that RSS into whatever, or just listen to it right from the site. And everything from episode 1 apparently works again. I was just checking it actually a few minutes ago.
That's awesome.
Because somebody had mentioned it. So that I was like, wow, they're back. That's weird. They've been gone for like 8 months.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad they're back, because I would hate to have lost a lot of this, all those great episodes.
Well, and because the Fallout ones were completely gone because there was no backups of them.
Oh, wow.
So like the early Fallout stuff, there was none of at all. The Skyrim, I did have a bunch, and then somebody sent me a bunch of early ones, thankfully. But there was still a gap, say, from like 30 to 60 or whatever it was, or 70. So there was a pretty sizable gap in there. It was over a year's worth.
Yeah.
Well, the nice thing about the new feed is that it saves my fast forward button on my player. So because it just jumps, right from episode to episode.
Yeah, I cut out all the I cut out the beginnings. Yeah. I'm like, well, nobody needs to listen to the same thing over and over 15 times.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
I'm just going to cut that out. I've actually been thinking about editing down the beginning even shorter. Because I'm like, people have if it's more than like 5 seconds to start a show, it's too long at this point, I think.
Yeah, you're right. I have a too long a lead in on my Harold character, but I like it too much.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
much.
Yeah, it's like one of those things. Yeah, you're accustomed to it.
Yeah. Stu over at Character Crusade is famous for long intros, so we'll go on for a minute and a half.
2 minutes 21 on the what's his orcish thief twist.
Oh, Twist. Yeah, I didn't watch that series much at all. That was not one of my favorite. I liked the Fleet Featherstone and the Ernest Arcana. Those two are probably the best. But yeah, they all have long lead-ins.
We actually have another email, actually from Steve, who I'd been talking to through email previously.
Oh,
but
cool.
I believe he's new to the show, but he's enjoying it and pushing through from the beginning. He's up to the round table, so I'm assuming that's the first round table, maybe? I don't know. Maybe he found it on TalkShoe. I don't know. But if he's up to the first round table, that was quite a long time ago.
It is a long time.
So he's been
out of the state.
Yeah. Gosh, that was probably 4 years ago almost, I would guess.
Yeah.
He's been looking at different ways of playing. So he's kind of doing like a permadeath version where he picks a difficulty, plays however like a different style each time, and then just see the highest possible level he can get to before dying. And so that's kind of like how I'm assuming he's playing on console because there's no mention of modding or anything like that. So I'm guessing he's finding different ways to play in that way. And actually, the early episodes are good for that because I didn't do. I was playing on 360 forever, for a very, very long time in the beginning, and picking all kinds of weird ways to play. Let's see. On a side note, he remembers a podcast discussing decorating and things of that nature in houses. I used to like to fill the far end of Lakeview Manor with gemstones, like hundreds of gemstones scattered everywhere, and then use Relenting Force shout. And all of the gems fly around, bouncing everywhere. But kind of gives a Scrooge McDuck feel.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess if there was decorating, I think Skyrim. I think Andrew was doing a lot of decorating back in the day, if I remember correctly.
I thought Andrew was the one who liked to just sort of dump everything in the middle of the room and not put any furniture in.
Oh, yeah, there was that too. Yeah. Yeah, that's true too.
Do the same thing with Cheese Wheels and then Puss Row Dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, now that you have the Crown of Baron Zaya, you could do the gems in the house.
Yeah.
I feel like that would really,
avaricious.
I feel like that would bog down the Switch quite a bit, like 500 gems flying around the room.
Yeah. It certainly affects the load screens anyway when you have a lot of stuff in your house, Hearthfire houses. Yeah.
Yeah, I did notice it kind of gives it has like 360-ish load screens, time wise. Once you start accumulating a lot of things.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I have resisted that urge so far. Of course, I had to buy Proudspire Manor for Baron Zaya, but I haven't put anything in it. It's just
You just had to get it, to get the stone out of there. Yeah. Oh yeah, so you're doing it with no markers or anything, since there's obviously no mods.
I used UESP for as a sort of. I mean, I know the game so well. I didn't even use the maps, but I actually did the Baron Zaya stones almost in top to bottom order on UESP, just so I could keep track of them, because I didn't want to like cheat too much. So I cheated by activating the links one at a time.
Well, I feel like it's hard to keep track of if you don't have some kind of checklist to go off of.
Yeah,
because
it really is.
Yeah, they're just all over the place.
Yeah, but some of them, the early ones, like there's only, I mean, is Proudspire and the one in the Dark Brotherhood Sanctuary are the only two that are fully quest locked anymore, right?
Yeah, because the other one at the Thalmor Embassy was moved.
Yeah, it got moved down to that cave on the other side of the mountain. So, so it took me a while to get to Proudspire Manor, just to make enough money to buy it and do all the quests you need.
Because that's what, 25,000 gold.
25,000, yeah. Plus, you have to do the Wolf Queen, whatever her name was, for that Patema, and so on and so forth. But other ones, I had a lot of fun. Like I sneaked into Hag's End, or wherever it is up there above Markarth, or one of them is.
Oh yeah,
I totally just sneaked in there and got it out without having to fight any Hag Ravens or Wirehearts or anything. That was fun. So it felt like a good way of doing them, to really sneak in and steal them, instead of just sort of, walk into the Jarl's bedroom and just take it, so I tried to role play it a little bit that way anyway. It would be, I guess, yeah. I was thinking while I was doing it, it might have been more fun if they'd made some of them, steal instead of all takeable.
Yeah,
but, that might have complicated the quest, the logic a little too much.
True, and then if you weren't playing any kind of thief or didn't have any sneak ability,
so it's better just to pretend you're stealing them. And
yeah. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, you don't. I thought the one. Why was I thinking the one in Windhelm gave you an issue if you took it in front of him? The one
that's up in the wizards. I don't remember if that might in fact be a stolen item. I don't know.
That one might be. I don't know. Or maybe it's just in general he doesn't really like you in there. I'm not sure.
Right. Yeah. And then there's a couple that you really have to get your sneak up to sort of role play in there, like getting Codlak's one. You have to sort of walk past Codlak and whichever of the two brothers it is, I can never remember, while they're sitting at the table there, or start the quest enough to get them away and then sneak in, but I managed to. I took an invisibility potion and sneaked in and stole the stone. That was fun.
Yeah, that's a quest I've got to do. I never have messed around with that one at all. I finally did the Sheogorath, got the Wabajack.
Oh, really?
I'd never done that before.
That's like Connor's favorite quest because he loves the Wabajack.
Yeah, of course. It's a great.
It's like, and he's got a little bit of a Andrew going. That he's like trying to raise everything. He's like, how many things can I raise? And I'm like, oh boy. I'm like, well, there is the ritual stone. He's like, well, does it work with giants? I was like, yes.
You can raise enough to bring the game to a screen.
Yeah. You can raise enough that the switch will melt in your hands while you're playing it. Yeah, so that's his big thing now. Is he likes he starts over like constantly. Like he just likes building new characters and doing different stuff. I think
I'm totally with him on that one.
That's my kind of guy.
Yeah, he gets to like level 5. He's like, all right, let's do another one. And
eventually he'll fall in love with one enough to keep going with it.
Yeah, I think he likes the main quest a lot though in the beginning for some reason. which is bizarre because everybody else is like, let's try something different. But
yawn. Do it. Do
he
it
likes
again.
doing that beginning part quite a bit. We had a glitch where everybody was like naked in the beginning the one time.
Oops.
Yeah, it was weird. Nobody had armor on, even in the whole Helgen scene. Everybody was out of
And
armor.
this was on the Switch.
No, that was on the laptop actually.
Oh, okay.
It must have been like a corrupted save or something because it was only one of them. Well, one of the characters had it, and I'm like, what is what in the world? Like, why is nobody dressed in this town?
Yeah. Well, having for me anyway, having finally done the Stones of Baron Zaya, the last thing after I'm not nearly as prolific as Michelle in hours, but I'm closing in on 3,000. I still have yet to find the Quill of Gemination.
Oh, the one in the lake?
Yeah, that's my albatross.
Such
it's like
a pain.
Andrew with the muffle.
Yeah.
I have yet to find that stupid thing.
It is such a pain to find. I think I've found it like 2 times, maybe 3 tops.
Yeah.
It is. One time I got really lucky and found it, and I think the other times I just looked for a long time.
Yeah,
That's
I've done that. I've zigzagged my way up and down that stupid lake and river, and never found the damn thing. But one of these days I'll find it, and then I think I'll never play Skyrim again.
That's the final, the final quest.
Yeah.
The final quest there. Oh gosh. Michelle's been playing Sims 4 and
cool.
Building and decorating and writing stories in French, he said, which I've actually noticed. I've seen on Twitter he's been posting the shots of Sims 4 and the short stories, which I cannot read that well since they are in French, but I appreciate them nonetheless.
That's awesome.
And so he tried playing Lord of the Rings online, it looks like. Oh, I pre-ordered God of War, actually. I've never played it before, but somebody said it had a good review, and I was like, I don't really have anything for the PS4 right now that I'm playing, so I'm going to grab it and see.
Yeah, I think my next thing is going to be Far Cry 5.
Yeah, I'm waiting on a price drop for that, and I'm going to grab it, actually. Yeah.
I really wanted to buy Sea of Thieves. I really enjoyed playing with Sean when it was in beta, but it released to less than stellar.
Yeah.
So I'm going to wait for a sale on that for sure.
Well, I have the Game Pass now on the Xbox One. So I figure if I find one decent game a month, it's worth it, you know. Because I forget what I played through recently. Whatever it was, I played a whole game. Oh, it was Tomb Raider, the latest Tomb Raider. It's very Uncharted like, linear storyline, and also Sea of Thieves released on it. But I saw the reviews were like, and I was like, all right, well, I won't even bother downloading it then. I'll just wait for something else. But
it's fun. I think people were just disappointed that everybody expected it to have more content released than it actually did. But I'll say that the sailing is fun. They did what they lack in storyline and content. They totally nailed the water and all. And sailing. It's a lot of fun just to get out there on a boat and sail across the ocean. But that gets boring after a while.
Yeah, I guess that's you're like, oh, great. Yeah. I guess it's the what was it, No Man's Sky effect. It's really great to fly through space until all you're doing is flying through space. Yeah.
No, it's not nearly as bad as No Man's Sky because there's like Sean said in the comments he made about it, the proximity chat and stuff like that. That's a lot of fun, and you can really have fun with people and enjoy. And the crowd that was playing the game, at least in the betas that I was in, they were all really nice. There's no real griefing mechanic in the game, so you can't get the real assholes in there. I mean, you still get people that
you still get some
immature jerks, but so it's a game that's really geared more towards having fun with people rather than trying to kill everybody. If you want to go out and kill everybody, go play Fortnite, which is a lot of fun too. But yeah, so I enjoy. I think it has some potential. I'm sure it's got enough financial muscle behind it that
to keep going.
Yeah.
So I heard a news story today about somebody's created ransomware that in order to get your files decrypted after getting infected, you have to play an hour of PUBG.
Oh no! I thought you were going to say an hour of No Man's Sky.
An hour of PUBG.
I could play an hour of PUBG, but I'm not sure I could play another hour of No Man's Sky. Even now, after all the updates, I hear it's much better in many ways.
Yeah, I think once that next big update comes, I'll give it a go again. I just want to wait until then. You know, I think it's June they were saying.
Yep. Yeah, PUBG. I don't know if you guys have played a whole lot of either of those two battle royale games. They're fun, but I think Fortnite is a lot more fun. So.
Yeah, I haven't played Fortnite yet.
Oh, you should.
Yeah.
And actually, it's great for it's much better for kids than PUBG.
Mm-hmm.
So if Connor would, I think would
he's
enjoy
probably played it actually.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me.
That I wouldn't doubt. He's been bopping back into Minecraft some too. The the servers and stuff. Not really the general world, but the server games and stuff like that they have on there.
Yeah, Sean's got Brandon playing Minecraft, and Brandon's 5, so
yeah,
he's a little behind Connor there, but
yeah, well,
I start him early.
Yeah, well, Connor started playing Skyrim at like 3, so
oh wow,
which is when it came out. So, well, what year is it? 20? Yeah, 7 years ago. Yeah, 3, 4, whatever. I don't know, something like that. He was young.
Yep.
He went from killing bears to now naming characters profane names. So we have that. So
it sounds about normal.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Which, I mean, he's very, he's generally very behaved and quiet. But yeah, I'm scrolling through the character names. I'm like, really? He's like, what? It's like, don't let anybody else see it. I don't want to hear about this.
Yeah, but you got to do it. I mean,
yeah. I'm like, I mean, he never says a bad word to anyone, so I'm like, it's fine. But I was dying. I was like, oh god. I was like, that's definitely not my character.
Well, that's funny because it's like there's a whole meme about PS4 names you wish you never made because they wouldn't let you change them.
Oh
yeah. I think finally, a year ago or 2 years ago, PlayStation Plus finally started letting people change their names.
Yeah. On the Xbox, you used to have to pay to change your name, didn't you?
Probably.
Yeah. On Xbox Live back in the day, I think you had it cost whatever Xbox points or whatever the hell you used back then.
Yep.
Oh, it was funny. Speaking of older gaming, I saw Ready Player One, which I didn't really like very much. But
really, wow.
I really
people have said that.
Yeah, well, as a movie, it just wasn't. There wasn't.
Did you read the book too?
No, I never read the book, but like the final part, I'm not spoiling it, but the game at the final part is because they play a whole multitude of games, is an adventure, which I've mentioned many times on here. And I'm like, finally, adventure gets its due. Finally, from the Atari 2600, and all of the little secret things in it. I think they only talked about one of them, but there was a bunch of funny little things in that you could do. I mean,
yeah, I can imagine because I read the book and I imagine the I haven't seen the movie, although I heard it got great reviews.
Yeah,
but I can definitely imagine that a lot of the geek culture, pop culture references in the book got lost in the movie. That one clearly didn't, but
yeah. No, actually, I think that part was fine. Like the references, nostalgia part, it did well.
Yeah,
it was the character part. It didn't do real well. It was like cardboard cutouts in a story, basically.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was but I mean, Connor and Renee loved it, so I'm not a big
less so in the book. Then I guess he's much more fleshed out.
Yeah, that you have so much more time in a book where you can actually give them a real backstory and all. But yeah, no, they loved it. It was certainly a fun movie. But yeah, and I did enjoy seeing adventure on the screen. I was like, I played that so many times and just did all kinds of silly things with the bridge where you could go through the walls and everything else. So
yeah.
And back then, you just kind of found stuff on your own because there was really no way of finding out about it, except for like magazines and stuff. So
yeah, magazines, bulletin boards, stuff.
Yeah. I think I had Prodigy back then, so yeah, it would have been like. Well, actually, that was probably before Prodigy. Even I had.
I was on P-Link on the Commodore.
Yeah, it was. That was probably pre-Prodigy days for me.
Yeah, and CompuServe.
Yeah, CompuServe. Yes, 10,000 discs in the mail.
Yep. I even still remember my number.
Gosh, I don't even. God, I can't even remember what I had. I wonder if any.
Do you have a CompuServe number, Ray?
No, I didn't.
Okay.
Gosh, those old services, but.
Yeah.
Oh gosh. Oh yeah. So if anybody's looking for the old episodes, they are available on TalkShoe, as I said. I'll still keep moving them over. We have the Oblivion Roundtable will be the 22nd. Juan and Colin and I will be doing it. You guys are doing Skyrim 10 AD this weekend, right?
Yep. Sunday at 3
Mm-hmm.
on the Patreon live stream.
And that'll be. Let's see. I think episode 3 is released on the regular feed.
Yeah,
Now.
No, episode 3 was the third part of the first.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
episode 3, yeah, which is the third part of the first recording, I believe. Yeah.
And then so the second session where I came in, we did a lot of just sort of character building and a lot of sort of story building.
Mm-hmm.
And we are assured by Colin that this one we're going to have our butts handed to us.
Well, and it was all because our guide had such a low roll on his.
No, he was perfectly fine. What are you talking about? he's just young and he's a little experienced.
Young and experienced.
Yeah.
And I think he rolled a 3 for his perception check.
Boy.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
That's rough.
Yeah. Well, his glasses fogged over, you know.
I'm trying to think what else. So there'll be some older episodes coming up at some point. Trying to think what else we have going on. Oh, the Fallout Roundtable is happening. The Bobblehead Roundtable.
Tomorrow.
Yeah. I need to I had an issue. I couldn't get onto Twitch last week before I went away, so I'm going to see if I can do my run for my bobblehead probably tomorrow or something, or this weekend. For some reason, I couldn't connect Twitch. It kept throwing me back to the activate screen, and then kept telling me I was activated when I activated it, and then kept throwing me back to the activate screen. So I'm like, all right, I don't have like 3 days to do this here. So I'm going to try and reset everything again and see if I can get that working.
Well, Sean was supposed to do energy weapons, but he's been having issues trying with his shoulder and probably going to have surgery on his shoulder. So plus the kids are sick. So he had to fall off the world. So I think Andrew got somebody else to do the energy weapons.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. I have the one at the Corvega, the top of the Corvega. So
yeah, that's repair.
I think all I have is a 10 millimeter handgun at the moment. So it's going to be an interesting run to the top of the Corvega factory.
That should be, yeah.
It might be.
I practiced a couple of times for mine because I'm doing the agility bobblehead on the North Star.
Yeah,
and I've got I'm doing it from level 1.
Oh wow!
So I'm going to try to make it all the way from Sanctuary
to there
to the ship up and get the bobblehead without making it to level 2.
Wow. That is interesting.
Good luck with that.
Yeah, so I can definitely get the bobblehead once I get to the ship. That I've gotten that one several times now in practice, but it's trying to get there without triggering enough locations to level me up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's true. Because as you discover locations, you
get XP.
You get XP. That's true. That is a good point. Yeah, you don't want to do. Yeah, so you can't discover.
And my character has reasonably high intelligence, and so it, everyone's just a little too much.
Mm-hmm.
But it's definitely fun. So we record on Saturday this week with Colin and Craig. So it's fun, and it's been interesting trying to play through a character without getting some of the bobbleheads at certain times
and waiting
that I would normally get them. So
Yeah, that does change it up for sure. I tried to get enough weapons just to be able to survive to get to the Corvega factory. I was like, I'm just going to go leave the vault and start heading that way and see what I can gather along the way. And I had to do a little bit of searching around to get at least something more than a pipe pistol. I was like, this is not going to go well. I get it. I need something else. So I think I have a shotgun and a 10 millimeter now. So I think I can make it to the top with that.
I've been recording mine, so I did a little different take on it all, but I'm following in the sequence of bobbleheads though. Mm-hmm. But I did the what's the mod called, the random the alt start mod now, the good one, Start Me Up.
Start Me Up.
Is that the one? Yeah. So I used that, and I started my character at level 10 because I had things I wanted to do with him.
Right.
So I had a backstory all figured out and stuff. So I started him at 10. And
yeah, I just can't get enough of that mod now.
Yeah, it's great. It's a great mod. But I started him with the random roll, all the other random roll attributes. I just decided to level him up to begin with. So anyway, I'll release a couple of those videos after a few more of your episodes are in the can. So I'll be well enough behind that I won't be stepping on anybody.
Oh, and let everybody know what your channel is and all that. So.
Oh yeah, it's the open.world is my website, and you can find links to my YouTube channel there. The YouTube is called The Open World as well, but I don't have enough subscribers to have a custom URL yet. So let's see, it's YOUX397E. Yeah.
What is it? How many do you have to have now to have the custom one?
100.
Is that what it is? 100? Okay, that's not bad. It used to be I thought it used to be 500 or something. And I think they lowered it.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm surprised you can't buy one with YouTube Red or something.
Yeah, you would think. Yeah, just a premium service. Yeah.
Yep. But
oh, and I wanted to give a quick get well and feel better to Adam, or not Adam. I'm sorry. Yeah, Adam.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I was confusing Adam and Adam because Adam's in the chat, but different Adam in the chat, and I just completely confused the two of them. But Adam, who's been in the group for quite a long time and a patron and all that, and you can kind of follow what's going on with him at hollyjill.net. That's his wife's kind of blogging about what's going on. So just hope he's doing much better.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Shout outs.
All right. And I don't know. That's all I got. You guys got anything?
No.
May have news on Philly Pod Fest. I don't know. We're going to throw that around and see, kind of put the dates out there and then maybe throw our hats in the ring. We'll see what happens. But that's a possibility in the future here too. And I don't think there's anything else. I'm trying to think. No, that was it. I don't have anything else. I should probably get upstairs before I get yelled at, actually. Help with homework and all that. So
yeah. Okay.
Well, everybody watching, Michelle, Adam.
Thanks, everybody.
Take care. And everybody listening, if you want to join us, we do this sometimes live on Patreon, sometimes live on YouTube. And the money on Patreon goes to just support the feeds. So if you can kick in $1, that's awesome. And we appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yep. Thanks, everybody.
Take care. Take care, Adam. Michelle.
Adam. Good night.